Hey, what's going on, guys? Today in this podcast, we're bringing in the one and only Tia TX. She goes by Tia TX on YouTube. By the way, you can check out her YouTube channel down below in the description. So Tia has made $29K in the last 30 days on Etsy, and she's been talking about Etsy on her YouTube channel, and she talks about side hustles, etc., especially to do with print on demand. So I have the privilege to invite her into the podcast to have a chat about her achievements, how she started, especially that she is a student, guys. Come on, anybody can do it. She does this part-time, and I'd love to know about, how she started, the challenges she faced, and basically how she can do it. So let's welcome Tia to the podcast, and let's get to know what she does and how she can help you guys get inspired, etc. Tia, thank you so much for coming into the podcast. For people that don't know you, I'm sure a lot of people know you, but people that don't know you, tell us who you are.
For those of you who are just starting out trying to make money with print on demand, you can download the ultimate guide to print on demand success down below in the description completely for free to learn how you can set up your print on demand business and scale it to $10K a month with ease. Check it out, guys. It's definitely going to help you out.
Oh yeah, thanks so much for having me on the channel. My name's Tia and I'm a UK business owner. I run an e-commerce business and I mostly sell on Etsy. I sell on Shopify and I sell on some other platforms like Redbubble and TeePublic as well. I'm trying to get started on Amazon Seller Central, but there's a sort of trademark filing situation going on there. We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, Etsy's my most highest revenue platform. So by miles. Above the others, and I made, as Adnan just said, I've made like 29K in the past 30 days. That was like a recent achievement on mine on Etsy. I think, when I started, I didn't think even that amount of money was possible, but now being sort of a part-time YouTuber as well and seeing all these people with their millions coming in, I'm just like, oh, this is probably rookie numbers. But I feel like in terms of YouTube, I do like sort of discussing what I do and sharing tips as well. And I feel like I have value to provide in the fact that maybe I'm bridging the gap between the beginner stage and the sort of millionaire stage, obviously. Because I feel like once you make a lot of money, you tend to forget the details and what it felt like to start. So I've still got a little bit of that left and maybe I can provide some value there. So yeah, that's who I am, what I do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And do you know what? The fact that you're still a student and continuing your studies kind of feels interesting, because at this point, you kind of ask yourself, why am I studying? Right? Unless
Yeah.
you have bigger goals. I don't know if you want to share them. So do you get demotivated, or do
Okay,
you,
so
like,
yeah,
oh,
it's a little bit complicated, but I'm a medical student, so I
okay,
thought I
all
was
right.
going to be a doctor, basically. Um, I do enjoy the course. I don't hate it, and also I've only got 1.5 years left. So if I sort of dropped out now, it can be like, what's going on? So I might as well just finish. I mean, yeah, it's not that bad, so might as well.
But now that you can see, I know that we've gone off topic a little bit,
Yeah.
but now that you can, now that you can see the potential of working
Mm.
for yourself, doing e-commerce, YouTube, and all the stuff that comes with it, all the potential of earning.
Mm.
Do you think that you want to become a doctor still and earn a normal, well, a kind of okay pay for most employees, but it's way different, way different from
I totally get where you're coming from. The NHS sort of salary and working
right.
conditions and all of that, right? I think I'm genuinely interested in medicine, so I'd like to keep sort of a connection with the medical world, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Either through maybe part-time work or investing or anything like that.
yeah.
But I don't think now that I've seen sort of the other
The other
road, I
end.
don't think I'm
Yeah,
gonna go fully into sort of my foundation years, which is the FYF2 is the first 2 years that you do becoming a junior doctor. Um, I think I'm going to put that off and then try and grow my business for a bit. But yeah, I would still like to keep in touch with the medical world. I think it's a good thing, and
amazing.
I'm quite
It's
interested in it.
a noble profession as well, like one of the best professions you can have. Um, and salute to any doctor, any nurse out there, because they're doing a wonderful and honorable job. Now,
Absolutely.
how did you start doing POD? Like, what made you think, okay, I'm a medical student, but I want to do something different? Like, what sparked that interest?
Okay, this started a very long time ago. So I was about 15 years old.
Okay,
And I was basically like trying to sell, because we're in the UK, so we do like GCSEs and A levels.
right,
So
right.
I was trying to sell my GCSE and A level notes to like the year below, but no one was buying anything. So I was basically like, oh, and I one of my teachers was like, I got these notes off a website called tes.com or something, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I could sell stuff there. So I went to tes.com. I uploaded some of my revision notes as like PowerPoints. Um, and then I made a bit of money, and I was like, oh, okay. So I just kept on uploading stuff, and then I didn't really look at it for a while, and then I came back and I had like 500 quid. So I was like, okay, I might as well keep doing this. And then like my grades went up, and because I was like making revision notes to literally
Interesting.
sell. And then I ended up making like over $7,000. I didn't keep all of that. Obviously, like some of it was cut to the website, but I think it was like 3 or 4K that I got to keep from the website just making revision notes. And I was like, okay, this is like a really niche market, you know what I mean? Like revision notes for these like 3 subjects in the UK. If I can make this much money selling this, then what else can I do online? There's so many possibilities. So then I just, like everyone else, Googled like how to make money online, and then came across all this stuff like drop shipping. I think drop shipping and Amazon FBA were really big back at that time. It was like 2017-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I stumbled across some Shopify drop shippers, and then I opened a drop shipping store. It was like a really bad general store. It was like
Hmm.
everyone's first store was really bad. But mine was like exceptionally bad. I managed to make some sales through an influencer, but I didn't even like make a profit. I just like I made like 5 sales, and then I had to go back to school. So I was like, I can't really do this anymore. But it just sort of gave me like confirmation that this was actually a legit business model and not a scam. Like if I could find a way to do it profitably,
Yeah.
then it could work. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I sort of dropped that. But then, like, I was just like doing school, like being a teenager and whatever. But I feel like once you know that you can make money online, it's like this
It's
itch
that
that never
first
goes away.
confirmation, that
Yeah,
first
yeah,
confirmation that you've made a sale. Oh my God, I've made a sale doing, selling digital
yeah.
products. Or I've made a sale just buying something for a cheaper price and selling it at a higher price. And I was able to market it this way. Oh, wow. Okay. If I could do 1 or 5 or 10, I could do 100, I could do 200. And then it kind of, your entrepreneur eyes just like open up like that. And you're like, oh my God, I can do this.
Yeah, as you
And
said,
I just
like
have to
just
find a way.
yeah, it's like that entrepreneurial itch. It just never goes away. It's
Hmm.
I'm sure you know what I'm
I
talking about.
agree.
But yeah, so I was looking for other ways to make money online. I feel like a bit of a tangent, but I feel like with Shopify dropshipping, it's very much sort of you actually have to know how to run a business, but also
Mm.
you have to have it in isolation. And by that I mean like you have to have at least 3 or 4 days at least in a row. So like on day one you do the product research, on day two you build the store, and then on day three you like run the ads or whatever. But I just didn't have that because I was at school, so the maximum I had was like 2 days at the weekend. So I felt like Shopify, it was just too like it was too discontinuous for me to do. I knew that I could probably do it if I tried, but it just wasn't optimal. So I was looking for more like passive, even more passive ways. And then I came across a video. I can't remember of like who was the creator, but she was like about the same age as me, and she was like how I made $600 on Redbubble or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, this seems like pretty passive. And at that time I didn't really know what print on demand was,
Mm.
so I just went on Redbubble. I uploaded some stuff. It didn't resell, obviously, and then I started looking for ways. So I found like the Redbubble side of YouTube, which is where everyone's like, oh, I made this much money. So I started watching that, and basically everyone was just they were either just like looking at what other products were selling, or um I actually discovered a tool called Bubble Scout. I'm sure you know, like with Merch
Yeah.
Dominator, I'm sure you know
Mm.
what that is. And I was like, okay, so if I look at these, and then I learned about sort of intellectual property and trademark and all that, and I was like, okay, if I just take the non-trademarked keywords that are safe to sell and then I make loads of designs in these, then there's kind of no way that I won't get sales because people are literally searching for them.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did, and I got sales, and I was like, okay, this actually works. I'm gonna like keep doing it. So then I ended up making like, I can't remember how much it was exactly, but I have a video on my channel. It was like a couple grand in my first year of doing Redbubble. Um, and then that's when I started my YouTube channel. I was like teaching people how to do it. Basically, it's literally just like 3 steps. You go on the website, you find the non-trademarked words, and then you make designs for it.
Yeah.
Um, and then I sort of branched out to TeePublic as well. That went pretty well. And then I started Etsy. And the thing that I realized around, I think it was like, I can't remember if it was last year, but I didn't want to keep on uploading to Redbubble and TeePublic as much anymore because obviously my time is limited. But
Yeah.
also, I feel like with those smaller platforms, it's almost more like affiliate marketing than actually running an e-commerce business, because they're not your customers, if you know what I mean. Like, you
Exactly.
don't have any customer contact. You can't even see like who your customers are. Um, Obviously, like Redbubble was sort of like public company wise going downhill at that time, but also
Mhm.
I think the main reason was just like the fact that you could get suspended at any time, and also the fact that you have no customer contact, so you can't market to these people at all, which made me sort of jump ship. And obviously
You
I'm still
can't build a
making,
brand, basically.
yeah, you can't build a brand at all because they're not your customers, they're Redbubble's customers. So that's when I sort of just left Redbubble. I made a video explaining why I did, basically. I mean, I still think it's a good platform to sell on, and it's good passive income. Like, I still get money from it every month, but
Especially for
um
beginners
yeah, definitely. It was
that
like,
have no experience,
mm,
no money to start with, etc. So
yeah, it
okay.
was a good like bridging the gap,
Yeah.
I guess. But then I was like, yeah, I should start sort of learning how to run an actual business. So I opened an Etsy store, and then I opened a digital product store as well, and both of them are sort of doing okay. So I'm just sort of working on that now. Trying to get people to my Shopify print-on-demand store, because obviously Etsy can shut you down at any time. Not that
Yeah.
I'm like
Exactly.
consciously doing anything bad, but it's just you hear a lot of horror
But you
stories.
want your own business, your own platform, because no one
Exactly.
can shut down your own platform as long as you're running it legally,
Yeah.
following the guidelines and all of that. Nobody can just come and take you away your store from you.
Yeah, exactly.
But Etsy and all of these print on demand platforms, anyone can just come in at any time and say, no, you're not on the
Yeah.
platform anymore. You know,
That's the scary thing about it.
yeah,
So that's why I'm sort of trying to discreetly sort of divert customers to my Shopify store, because obviously there's rules on Etsy that's like you're not allowed to do fee avoidance by putting your um, website in the banner or anything like that. So
right,
I'm trying to sort of skirt around that and just put it in the actual product itself.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's what I'm working on now. See the YouTube channel and all of that. Just documenting my journey. I feel like I'm less of a guru. I'm more just like talking about what I do basically, and what worked for me and what
And
didn't.
I
So
think that is the best way of doing it. That is the most authentic way of doing it. You're showing your successes, your failures, and showing the side that not many people show you. So a lot of people just show you their success; they don't show you their failures, right? And unfortunately, beginners, they only see that other people are being successful, but they don't see the background behind that success. All the hard work that they've had to put in, all the effort, all the the struggles. They don't see any of that. So I think documenting your journey is really, really good, and it comes across very authentic.
I
So
appreciate that.
hats off to you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, even Shimon Morris, I think he's got a really, really good approach. He shows various different, trials and tribulations, all the problems that he faces, trying different things. Some things work, some things don't work. And you know what?
Yeah.
That is what it takes to run a business. It's not
Yeah.
always
No.
up, it's
Absolutely.
up and down. It's always
Yeah.
up and down.
No, I've seen Shimmy's videos. They're really good, like high production quality as well
Yeah,
as like good content. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. And Ryan Hogan and the
Yeah.
likes. So how did you start learning doing all of this stuff? Obviously, you have that stage of interest where you're like, okay, great, I can do this. But then the next step is applying or learning and then applying that knowledge. So do you want to talk to us through that kind of journey, how you learned and how you started applying the knowledge?
Honestly, it was mostly just YouTube. Like, I was looking
Yeah.
at obviously that girl that made 600. I might put it in the description or something, but she made $600 or something, and she was talking about what kind of design she did, and then I learned a bit from that, and then just learning from other people's videos. Also, I guess a little bit of not like critical thinking, but just like thinking about what would actually work as opposed to randomly uploading stuff. Because obviously everyone's time is limited. Like very few people are just doing print on demand in isolation.
Yeah.
They don't have something else like school or work, all right.
Yeah.
So just one thing that I said before is just like, for me at least, every design before I upload it, I have a reason in my mind to justify why it might sell. Like if I'm just making this design for the sake of it and there's no reason as to why it might sell, then it's probably not even worth uploading it. Which is
That is
like,
critical thinking because you have
yeah,
to
I mean,
think, you have to analyze, you have to think about the potential profitability of that design and
yeah,
justify it
exactly.
to yourself, right?
Yeah, and I've said sort of something along the same lines on my YouTube channel, and people in the comments have been like, well, not everyone, but some people have been like, I don't know, it kills like artistic creativity, which I don't think it has to like conflict. I feel like you can sort of work within the frame of like keywords that people are searching for and still be creative and create something new, right? Like
Totally.
it's not like killing creativity.
I'm going to leave you guys links to all the services and print on demand resources that you need in the description. Whether you need a Merch by Amazon account, my full Merch by Amazon course, the Profitable Niches service, one-to-one coaching, the free ultimate guide to print on demand success, $10K a month formula, PDF, or any of the print on demand tools and resources either for free or with heavy discounts. You'll find all the links down below in the description.
I mean, if you think about it, every single design is inspired from another design.
Yeah,
Even big
exactly.
artists have had inspiration from other artists.
Yeah, still
Because,
like an artist.
right? But you can't have something out of nothing.
Yeah,
You know, we all, whatever we do, we get inspired from something else, right?
yeah,
So I think people that think, oh, you have to come up with a brand new idea, otherwise you're not a good artist, or otherwise you don't deserve the money that you got. Some people name you and shame you for, improving the design and coming up with a different spin on that design or on that quote or whatever. If the quote,
yeah,
this is my stance and I always stand by it. In print on demand, if you make a different version of a particular design with your own spin on it, with your own idea, with your own personality injected into it, and it looks different from the original design, I have absolutely no problem with that. I don't know, where do you stand on that?
yeah. No, I totally agree. Like as long as you're not like blatantly infringing,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it is
I
what
mean,
it is. Like
copying
everyone,
the design is completely, not right, not
yeah,
moral, not legal. However way you look at it, but looking at a design and doing your own version of it, and not copying the exact same thing, changing it up completely, making it yours, making it your own version. There's no problem with that. And if you think about it from a business point of view, this is how print on demand works. Why would you want to change an industry when the industry is like that? Right?
yeah,
You can't change it. It will never change. It is like that because people are looking for certain keywords. They're looking for certain quotes. They're looking for
yeah,
a type of design. If it pops off, then hey, do the same thing. Mobile
yeah,
phones, right? For example, mobile phones.
mm.
Apple started a brand new trend of smartphones. Samsung came and basically used the exact same concept, but they changed it up a little bit. They made it Samsung-like, right?
Yeah.
Nokia,
Windows with the Mac as well.
Windows with the Mac, right?
Yeah,
Nokia did not follow that trend. What happened to them? Where are they now? They're not even in the mobile phone industry anymore. I don't know whether they're doing some kind of very niche down offering in the mobile phone
yeah. I think
industry,
they're doing
whatever.
some other technology.
Yeah, maybe something else.
Yeah,
But where are they? You don't hear about them. When in fact they were number one in mobile phone industry some 20 odd years ago. right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just the way it is, right? As long as you're doing your thing without infringing on anyone, then you're fine. So you learned from YouTube, and you faced some challenges. What would you say are some challenges that you faced? Because obviously you had the challenge of being a student because your time is very
Yeah.
limited. So how did you, you know, arranged your time and scheduled everything to make you fit all of what you were doing in the limited time that you had?
How did I fit everything that I was doing? Honestly, I didn't. Like I just went with it as I went. Like so when I started at first, the whole like revision notes thing, it was like kind of complementary to my learning anyway. But then when I actually proper started Shopify dropshipping and print on demand, that was in a summer holiday, so I had all the time really. But then when I got back to school was when that became really challenging. So I was just like making use of my weekends and holidays to do
Mm,
some print on demand where I can, because obviously like I want to have a life and I want to go out with friends and stuff.
mm,
Don't want to be like spending every minute doing that. But then as I sort of realized like the actual earning potential of it, I began to actually like schedule time to do it, because I was like, yeah, this
mm,
is like making good money, so I'm gonna like invest more in it. And it was just like a feedback loop. I was seeing like the more money I made, the more time I spent on something basically. But yeah, I mean, it's always a struggle, like trying to balance schoolwork and especially like the course I'm on now. It's very intensive. There's a lot of
mhm,
traveling because like we get placed around different NHS hospitals around
mhm,
the UK, so I have to like travel every other week basically. It's a little bit frustrating, but it is how it is really. So just trying to manage time around that, getting the YouTube videos done, getting like all the print on demand, getting Etsy done. I think one thing that's really helped me recently is outsourcing. So using Upwork
okay.
and getting some virtual assistants. I don't know if you're familiar with the platform, but
Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's really
We use
good. Like,
Upwork quite a bit.
yeah, there's like a time tracker and everything. It's very sort
Yeah.
of hands off. I think I'm going to make a video about it soon because I think it could help a lot of people. But that's what I've been using recently to help me fulfill orders, because I do a lot of personalized gifts on Etsy,
Yeah.
and I have to sort of go into the design program and edit all the files myself. So having someone else do that is like a massive weight off my shoulders. So delegating is one thing, but yeah, honestly, I'm not like the best person to ask for time management, because a lot of the time I've just been like lacking sleep or not getting what I really wanted to get done,
But
but
hey,
somehow it's worked out.
but sometimes, when you want to fit in so many things, you have to sacrifice certain things. So you sacrifice sleep if you have to. I've had to do that
Yeah.
as well. I mean, you can be the best time manager in the world, but when you have so many things to do and very little time to do it, you have to sacrifice something.
Yeah.
And it depends on how important that thing to you, right? So for you, what was important was continuing your studies, obviously. So you had to get that done. That is a non-negotiable. You had to go and do those trips to the hospital. You have to be at uni. You have to do your coursework. You have to do all of that stuff, right? Your assignments, whatever. But at the same time, you have very limited time to do other things. You could either choose to go with your friends, or you could invest it learning something that will help you with your money making journey, or actually doing the work, your print on demand work or whatever, to work on that side of the business. So sometimes when you don't have enough time, you just have to sacrifice something. And that is what I've gone through. And luckily, when I had my own team, it really opened up so much time for me.
Yeah.
And I think the power of delegating is very, very important, and it's so underrated. People don't understand that this is what they need when they reach a certain point of income. They have to start delegating. They
Yeah.
shouldn't look at it as a loss or a cost. It's actually an
Mm.
investment, because it's going to help you open up so much time, a window of time that you didn't have before, that now you can do so much with.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely agree with that. And I feel like delegating is the thing that separates a small, like home-based business. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Obviously, it's like your choice how you choose to structure
Mm.
your business. But I feel like that is what separates like a corporation, or not corporation, like
Exactly.
a company from a small business, I guess.
Yeah, totally. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to grow and scale. You can't do it on your own
Yeah.
because you only have 24 hours in a day. Like, what can you do with that, right? You know, you sleep, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours a day. You eat, I don't know how long you eat, you know, how long you spend in a day. If you go to the gym, you
Too
know,
much. Too much.
right? Just small little things,
Yeah.
and your day is gone. So you pretty much have 8 hours, 10 hours. You can even spend 12 hours in a day, right? Of work. That is a lot, right?
Yeah.
So if you spend 12 hours a day, you can't do much if you think about it. And you can't grow. You have to employ other people, delegate certain things so that you can move forward. I
Yeah.
think that's definitely the right choice,
Yeah.
especially when you're time poor. Great. So, any other challenges that you faced other than these things? So, like time management and basically having so much to do. Did you have a problem with identifying what works and what didn't work? Like in print on demand, for example.
Identifying what works and what didn't work. Yeah, okay, so I think it comes in stages. So obviously at first when you're a beginner, you're just trying to make your first sale. That's obviously like,
Mm,
what actually sells and how to make sales. Once you've got past like, the 100 to 1,000 sale mark, you're kind of more like, if you're moving to another it's kind of more thinking about diversifying, or how can I scale and grow basically. Um, you're thinking about things like competition, and once you move to Etsy, obviously like profit was a massive challenge for me, because I was actually making good sales. Like I've said this in my recent video. I was making good sales in 2020, but I was not making much profit,
mhm,
because I was making like $1 profit on each sale, and then if a customer wanted a refund, that would like wipe out all my profit from the past 10
mhm,
sales. So just figuring out how to get a profit. And I think the key to that is basically you just sort of have to have a low profit at the beginning, because you have no social proof. But then once
mhm.
you make a certain number of sales and you get a certain number of reviews, hopefully those reviews are good. But then once you get that, I feel like you do have more like pricing power basically. So you
Did I
can
just hear a ching ching?
you did just you did.
There we go, guys. There you go. Hopefully, some motivation for you lot.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, so basically like once you get more social proof, you get more
Yeah.
pricing power. Like I hear a lot of people talking about sort of like conversion tactics and psychology and all of that. I feel like that's good, but at the end of the day, when you're on a platform like Etsy or Amazon or Redbubble, where everything's basically like standardized, so you can't
Mhm.
control what your checkout looks like. You can't control these like conversion factors. Everyone's the same basically. Social proof is the thing that determines your pricing power the most.
Yeah.
Because before, when I started, if I raised the price just a little bit, my conversion rate would go down to like 1 to 2%. But then now I can, like, especially during this Christmas rush. I mean, the sales are going down now, but before this Christmas, I just kept on raising my prices like every 3 days, and the conversion rate did not. The conversion rate actually increased when I
Mhm.
raised my prices. And I feel like that's because I've made more sales and I've got the reviews, especially like photo reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and obviously, some people think that if it's if the item that they want to purchase is very cheap, then maybe it's not good quality.
Yeah, exactly.
So when
Yeah.
you increase the price, um, then it can convert more. And I have noticed that on Etsy, people don't really care too much about the price compared to Amazon. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that as well. I feel like because on Etsy there's so many custom orders,
Hmm.
um, and also because you can see the number of sales that a shop has made. And then if a shop has really expensive products, the customers sort of scroll on there and then they see, okay, these products are pretty expensive, but like 10,000 people have bought this at this
Yeah,
price, therefore it should be good. But then, I mean, what they don't think about is the fact that when this shop started out, they probably sold it at much cheaper.
yeah.
But they just sort of like in their head, they just assume that all these people bought it at a really expensive price, so they buy an expensive
So it
price.
must be
And
good.
also, yeah, yeah, exactly. And also, I find that I get better reviews as well once I up my price, because it's almost like
Interesting.
a psychological trick. I don't know
It
if
is.
that's if that exists, but
I
yeah.
remember at one point I used to sell T-shirts, and I kid you not, for $36, and people
What was your
bought them
margin on that? Like
26
$10?
$26.
$26 on a t-shirt. That's
I
crazy.
swear to God, but not anymore. People don't
Yeah,
really buy it. Yeah, but I'm talking back in 2019,
that's
2020.
brilliant. Yeah,
$26 on a T-shirt. I would sell 10 of them. Brilliant. 10 a day, 20 a day. You're right.
that is a gold
Massive
mine.
margin.
Yeah,
Yeah. But like it only works on certain niches. So you have
yeah,
to really sub
absolutely.
a
Yeah,
niche. You have to. It needs to be on demand, but not available on Etsy. And people really
yeah.
want it. And they're searching for it, but they can't find it. So you're the
Mm,
only one who's selling it at that price. They're like, they just bite their tongue and buy it
yeah.
because it's not available anywhere else.
And I feel like that's
So,
a good thing with print on demand as well, because each design is unique. So it's
yeah,
like if they see that design, it's gonna be really hard to find that exact same design.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, interesting. Etsy is so different compared to Merch by Amazon. You cannot sell a Merch by Amazon design at, um, you know, $30 or
Yeah,
$36. It's impossible. I
that's
think the
crazy.
most I've sold a T-shirt on Amazon, on Merch by Amazon, was $27, 26.99. I think.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
that makes sense.
It is possible, but not always. Like very,
Yeah.
very rarely.
I mean,
It has. Sorry, go on.
yeah, so for me, like on Etsy, the biggest profit comes from multiple orders, because on like Printify and Printful, the additional shipping price goes down, and the shipping price is like the biggest part of your
Yeah,
cost. So if a customer buys, like I've had customers buy like 11 items at once, and then I get to keep like 60% profit.
yeah, which is
So yeah.
cool. You make profit on the shipping side, right, as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
on top for
So what were
multiple
you gonna
orders.
say before?
No, I was just gonna say, like, you can't make. For me, I wouldn't. I'm not making those kind of profits anymore
Yeah.
with Etsy, because the landscape has changed, obviously, and
Okay.
it's more competitive. But you can make decent profit on custom orders,
Yes, yeah.
personalized orders. Yeah, because they can't find it anywhere else. You have to
Mhm.
make it for them, and it's unique and it's one of a kind. So that's pretty cool. Um, so obviously, mindset plays a big part in your success. How did you have this mindset? Did you have it from the beginning? You have to try different things and make it work, and just having the idea of, I want to do something not non-conventional, because most people go through the route of getting a university degree and going and doing an internship for a year or 2 years or whatever, and then starting a job for 24, 26K, 30K, whatever. What
Yeah.
made you think, I want to do something different? Where did that whole, not motivation, but like mindset of entrepreneurial mindset, how did you develop it? Like, do you have someone in your family that gave you that inspiration? I'm interested to kind of figure out how you got that.
Mindset and inspiration. Okay, so for me, I feel like for me it was very different from, I guess, what I've seen a lot of other entrepreneurs do, because they sort of, I feel like they consciously made a decision to go a different path. For me, it was more like I'm obviously like still in uni, so
Yeah.
um, I guess I went both ways, but for me, it was more just like curiosity. Like I just clicked on a video that said, like, someone said they made loads of money, and I was just really curious as to how they did that. And then I was just like, oh yeah, I want to try that. I wasn't thinking about like, oh, I want to like be an entrepreneur and like go off in a different way. I was just curious
Hmm.
as to like see how much money I could actually make,
Hmm.
which I didn't think it was a lot, but I guess it's definitely more than I thought it would be. Um,
But
but
that in
yeah, just
itself
like
is
curiosity.
entrepreneurial, because that in itself is very entrepreneurial, and very, very positive mindset, because most people don't take action. They watch a video. They could probably watch the same video that you watched, and they would do absolutely nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is the problem. So that differentiates you. And most entrepreneurs are action takers. They see something, they find, they see a spark, they get curious, they want to try it. And when they see results, they just continue doing it no matter what. They'll say to themselves, I don't care what I sacrifice, I'm going to do it and I'm going to see more results. It becomes like an OCD type of thing. I don't know if you have that or not, but
It's
it's
addictive, isn't it? Like when you hear
right,
the
right.
ching, you're like, I need to upload more designs. But
Yeah.
yeah, to me it's more like it's kind of like a video game. It's like a
Yes.
strange kind of addiction that I can't really explain, but it's just
Yeah, and that's entrepreneurship for you, definitely.
yeah.
I mean, for me, same thing. I see results and I want to do more. I want to do better. It's like you're competing against yourself. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's like a video game. Most people are indifferent. They don't care about that. They just want a salary. They want to sit down, watch Netflix, go out with their friends, waste time, waste a ton of time on Instagram, TikTok, just scrolling through aimlessly. But entrepreneurs, they tend to judge and gauge where that time is spent, which is really, really important. Because the best currency, the hardest currency that we have is time, right?
Time
And
is money.
how we spend that time is what makes the difference. Yeah,
Absolutely.
this is really inspiring. So, tell me, Tia, how do you work? What is your work routine now that you're studying and working at the same time? And if you can, after that, if you can talk about your strategy, how you work and how you make money on Etsy.
Okay, work routine and how I make money on Etsy. So my work routine's kind of just like whenever I'm not going out or I'm not in lectures, I'm pretty much just working on my side hustles and my
Okay.
business. I Okay, so every day I do two things. In the morning, I check the orders because I have to, otherwise they'll like get delayed. Um,
Hmm.
and then I check with my VA to see if he's fulfilled the orders. Actually, I have this system. I'll show it in my next video, but it's like an email system. So when the emails come into Etsy, there's like in Gmail how you can tag things different
Yeah.
colors.
Hmm.
So I've got like a green tag, so that's like sent to production, and then a red tag that's like requires attention, and then a yellow tag that's like I need to manually do something basically. And then I get
Hmm.
the VA to, so I have tags labeled with the VA's name as well. And then when he fulfills the order, he doesn't have to enter anything on a spreadsheet. He can just go to the email and then tag it with something, and then I just go to the inbox, I look at all the emails, and then I approve the orders in Printify. And once I've approved an order, I mark it with the green color so that it's just a very fast system, basically. And
Amazing.
I think, yeah, the system is basically what, because I have tried to sort of outsource it to people before, but then I don't like trust that they put the design on right and they choose the
Hmm.
correct product and supplier and all of that. But this system just solves everything. So I'm pretty excited to sort of make that video and show people what I've created,
Nice.
basically. So yeah, I do that every morning, and then every evening I also check the orders. Those are like two things that I have to do. Otherwise my shop will literally get shut down. But yeah,
Hmm.
if I have if I have more time, then I try and upload some designs or work on my Shopify store. Um, yeah, and I'm
Or
also
create
sort of,
YouTube videos and stuff
yeah,
like
or
that.
create YouTube videos. I tried to get a YouTube video at least every 2 weeks, but it's sort of impossible with my schedule, and like I have to focus on
Mm.
my business first. So yeah, I just do YouTube videos when I can, basically.
Nice, cool. And how do you identify the niches that work well? What's your method of research? If you can just talk top level, it doesn't have to be
Yeah,
very
research
detailed.
method. Yeah, I think I've gone through this before, but basically, I do it in two stages. So it's keyword research first, and then product research, because I feel like a lot of people start with product research and then they just end up. Like, it's really hard not to copy when you start with
Mm.
product research because you just see something selling well, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna make a better version of that. But a lot of the time, it's really hard to come up with something that's not really similar to it. So
Mhm.
I start off with keywords that are being searched for. And then I just write down a list of keywords, and then I search for those keywords then in the product research tools. So the one I've been using recently is Etsy Hunt. It's like, I did a comparison video, and I think it's for some of, I won't say like this as a strict rule because I don't have enough data, but I've compared it between like to my actual data and between other tools as well, and I think it's more accurate. So I use that basically. I just type in the keyword and then I see what comes up, the best sellers. And then the good thing about that is that you have a lot of different designs for each keyword. So you get
Mm-hmm.
more inspiration and you can actually see like the patterns that sell rather than just copying one person.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that and then I just make a bunch of designs. I use Photoshop and Canva. Other people use like, there's some good programs that I've heard about recently, like Kittle and all that. Those are good as well, but I use Canva mostly, just because it's easy to sort of go in and edit. And then I just download the designs, I upload them to products, and then that's basically it, really. I also
Yeah,
upload some of my same designs to my digital shop as well, because it's literally zero effort to just make it into a PNG or SVG.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So now that you're doing all of this, what's your goal for the next, say, couple of years? By the time you graduate, so we've got about a
Couple of
year and a
years.
half. In the next 2 years, what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself?
In a year and a half.
Yeah, let's
Where do
say
I
the
see
next
myself
two
in a
years.
year and a half?
Yeah, or
Okay.
a couple of years.
I hope I'll graduate. I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, I really hope I'll graduate, and then
I'm sure you will,
I guess
100%.
we'll see about that. But yeah, just like growing my business. Obviously, I've hired. I'm working with 3 different VAs right now. About to get a 4th one. So um, just building up basically. There's a lot of things I feel like you can't really do without an in-person employee. Like, I'm sure there's like a way of, I don't know if you know like any ways of remote working, or like remote access, but basically with like Amazon accounts and Etsy accounts, like you have to watch the account health really carefully. And I've heard
Yeah.
of people getting suspended because of using VPNs, because of logging in from a different country. So I'm like really like, none of my VAs can access the back end of my Etsy shop at all. They all just use the Gmail, and they access Printify. That's it. So
Well,
I
with
essentially,
Merch by Amazon, it's completely different.
okay,
So you can access it from anywhere in the world. It's not
okay,
an issue. And with Etsy, I cannot tell you because I haven't uh,
yeah,
had much experience with, assigning that job to VAs and stuff like that. So
yeah,
with Merch by Amazon, because, we have a accounts creation service and we
hmm,
know the ins and outs. So there's literally no issue
okay.
with Merch by Amazon. With Etsy, it's different.
Yeah, no, that's really good to know, because with Etsy, it's like anything, literally anything can get your shop shut down. So I don't want to
Yeah,
risk that at all.
yeah,
So ideally, like an in-person employee or like a personal assistant or somebody
yeah.
just like help me with that would be ideal. But obviously, I have to have the income to support that. So
And you need also full trust.
yeah,
Ideally, someone from your family. So what I'm gonna do very soon, because my
mm,
Etsy store is basically it's stagnant, right? I haven't been uploading in there because
hmm,
I've been focusing on other things.
yeah,
I want to restart that um, to basically to see where it can go and maybe start doing some YouTube videos on that as well.
hmm,
I'm gonna get someone from my family to look after it.
okay,
And that's the only way for me. Like I can't trust anyone with the actual,
mm,
password and email because you can't have an admin side
yeah.
in your Etsy store. You
That's the
only
annoying
have one
thing about
login.
Etsy.
Yeah,
They don't
even with
let
Merch
that.
by Amazon, you
Mm,
can't. You have one login and
mm,
password. That's it. So you can't
yeah,
really delegate, and they can't. You can delegate certain things that you know don't really necessarily ask the employees to go into the accounts, like making your design or making your listings,
yeah,
but you still have to upload, right?
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think that's what it
Makes
is.
sense.
Cool. So in 2 years, you want to grow your business.
Yeah, I want to grow the business, and I'm
Mm,
not even going to put a number on it because I just don't know like the upper limit of this? And you were like, I saw on your channel like you made 102K or something in 1 month off royalties. Is that correct?
107K back
Off
in
royalties.
June 2021 on
That is
royalties. Yeah,
crazy. Like, but I
it
mean,
was.
I'm not surprised, honestly, like in this day and age. But
It's
yeah, that's still
possible.
crazy.
It
Yeah,
is possible, and
yeah,
there's people probably making more than that.
yeah.
They just haven't shown themselves. I know that big brands are making like hundreds of thousands per month. Now, see, the thing is with Merch by Amazon, the reach in there is absolutely ridiculous. Once a design works and it's ranked number one, two, amongst the top designs in, especially in a trend. Oh my God, the amount of money, like we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. So during that period of time, that June 2021, so we had three trends that worked really well for me. We
Okay.
had Father's Day, we had Juneteenth, um, and something else I can't remember exactly. But oh yeah, there was a political something political going on, which really helped as well. And there were a few bits and pieces. There was some crypto coins that were popping off. So I did some crypto based designs and yeah, a few other bits and pieces that all kind of came together and many designs ranked. And we were using ads with basically transitioned from doing organic to ads in 2021 fully. Like we don't care about organic, we just want to work with ads because we can scale very quickly. And I had a team kind of looking after the whole process. So that allowed me to kind of scale much faster. And this is how we're working now. I used to work like literally like a dog. I used to upload 100, 200 designs every single day. And
Yeah.
when you think about how many slots you can fill with that, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I used to work 12 hours in a day just designing, making variations. I used to open Illustrator and open 9 artboards, and I would just make a variation of each design. So literally, I would open 9 artboards, one design, and each design is basically a variation of the original design. That way you can basically scale quickly and you have so many slots that you need to fill and it's impossible to fill them. And I got to the realization that if I'm working like crazy like this, I'm going to be stagnant. I'm not going to be able to like move forward. And I'm just focusing on organic, and organic is good, but you have to, something has to sell and it has to rank higher. And don't get me wrong, like 10% of my designs were selling, or a little bit more, a little bit less, give or
Hmm.
take. But I was making 20K, 30K, right? 40K, that's good. But I never made like 6 figures in a month prior to that month. As soon as I started doing ads and working with this, you know, scaling method of getting a team and all of that, I made it to that next level. And it just goes to show you that you really have to work smart, not hard. Working hard is not the way. It's probably the way to kind of get to know the platform and to discover how things work. But once you get to a certain stage, you have to move forward to that next level. And that was the thing that really helped me is basically getting a team and investing in ads.
Yeah, the paid ads. I feel like as long as your ROAS doesn't cut too much into your profit, it should be like
Yeah, it
it's
should be
basically
fine.
infinite money. Like
To be
the more
honest
you
with you,
spend.
even if you're, a little bit down on ads, or even making a break even, it's still very good because you're making a lot of money off of the back end of organic sales. Because, imagine you're making so many sales doing ads. Amazon is
Yeah.
going to rank you higher than anyone else because you're selling. And this is what Amazon wants. They want you to sell, so that they can give you a lower BSR. And obviously, the lower BSR gets pushed much higher. And if you're lucky to have the top selling design in a trend, like just recently there was a Christmas design, or that I'm not old, I'm classic, that t-shirt that has a car in the
Oh,
middle,
yeah.
and
I've seen that.
classic one.
Yeah.
It reached 400 BSR, not 400k, 400 BSR, sub 1k BSR. And I've had designs that reach that amount. And I'm telling you, the amount of sales, one of my designs in 2021 reached sub 1k DSR. Actually, two of them. And that's why we got that number.
That's very
That's
powerful.
how you know. Yeah, it is possible.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I need to get on merch by Amazon.
I mean, I don't know. It's very, very good, but you get certain things with Etsy that you don't get with Merch by Amazon. You get certain things with Merch by Amazon that you don't get with Etsy. So they both have their advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah,
So
I
for
feel like each
example,
platform is like a game that you just need to
yeah,
learn with little
yeah.
differences.
So for example, Etsy gives you contact information of your customer.
Yeah.
You wouldn't dream of having that in Merch by Amazon. It doesn't exist, right? You don't have any access to your customers or customer service or anything or branding or nothing like that. You just upload your design and it gets shown on the Amazon platform. The good thing is Amazon does everything for you. All you have to do is do your research, upload, and create the listing, choose your colors, choose your fit type, and your pricing. But with Etsy, you're a lot more involved. But at the same time, you can build a brand. You can divert them off of that platform somewhere else. Like you said, with Shopify, print on demand, etc. So there's advantages and disadvantages of both, and they both have good organic traffic. But obviously, Amazon is way bigger when it comes to organic. Yeah.
No, definitely. And like Seller Central as well, I feel like you can collect customer information from that. So
yeah, so talk to us about Seller Central. So you said you're just, you're trying to start on Seller Central doing what, FBA with print on demand, or
FBM actually. So
FBM? Yeah, for print
yeah,
on merchants. Yeah, sorry, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
so I'm trying to get my FBM products from. So Printify annoyingly doesn't integrate with Amazon, which is really annoying because then you'll have to like enter every address manually. I could get someone to do that because Printify is a lot cheaper, so my margins would be higher. But for
Printful
now,
does.
yeah, Printful does. So that's why I'm integrating with Printful for now. But basically, I'm trying to get brand registered because you get certain benefits.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what, but it's like better protection, like some cash back off some
Yeah.
things. So I'm trying to get brand registered. I'm in talks
And you
with
can take down designs as well.
yeah,
If someone copies you, you can take down their designs with the
exactly.
brand registry.
Yeah, that's a big thing as well. That I'm looking for. So yeah, I'm in talks with I don't know if you know this firm, but they like specialize in e-commerce. It's Ekabilly Law. They're like a law
Yeah.
firm. Yeah, so they specialize in e-commerce, especially for Amazon sellers. So I'm trying to get my US trademark filed through them. I've sort of paid most of the money already, but I just have to keep paying because basically the first time I got a search, like I searched for my brand name and nothing came up, so I thought it was all good. But then they sort of did their lawyer things and searched, and like a bunch of like really similar names came up, and I was like, whoa, okay, I didn't know that these were a thing. So I had to like try and change the name, but then you have to prove its use in commerce, which is basically like you have to make a sale under the new brand name. So I was like, I can't like change the name of my Etsy store, so I'm gonna have to make a whole like new dummy Shopify store and basically like get my friend to buy something. And I was like, hold on, could I just file in a different class basically with the same name? So I did that, and I just got an email like last week being like, oh, there's like a 70% chance of success. And then they're like, okay, give us instructions now. And I'm like, I don't know whether to go through with it because then I'll have to pay another like 175 to get another check if I want to get a new name. So it's a bit of annoying, but yeah, eventually a trademark will be filed, and
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll get my brand registry, but it's just a bit of an annoying situation right now. But I appreciate the lawyers because obviously they know what they're doing, and I would
Exactly.
not have caught that if I was searching for it myself. So it's money worth spending, I think. Yeah,
Cool. And
that's
then
the situation.
in the process, you're getting a new experience in filing trademarks, and then
Yeah,
bit by bit. That's how it's done, right? You don't know everything from day one, And if you have people that help you with these things, it's a great
Yeah.
benefit. So what would be your advice to people starting out and maybe kind of hesitant, they're not sure whether to go with it or not? What would you say?
Advice to people starting out who are hesitant. I think this is a hard one, because I think when I started out, I was not so much hesitant as more just like, I want to try this and see what happens. I wasn't thinking like, what happens if I fail? I was just thinking, okay, let me try this. But I feel like for people now, I can't really deny the fact that it has gotten more competitive, because there are a lot more designs for each keyword. I feel like, firstly, like, educate yourself on basically product research and keyword research, and then on intellectual property, obviously. And if you know those three things, you're pretty much, and obviously like being able to design basic designs. And then if you know those three things, you're pretty much set. I mean, everyone else is pretty much in the same boat, right? Like, we're all just doing product and keyword
Yeah,
research and then designing and then uploading. There's not really much. I mean, there's a few more things that you gain through experience, but as long as you can master those like four things, I think that's pretty much time to get started then.
exactly. And then the rest will come through,
Yeah.
constant learning, application. You just need to be consistent, really,
Yeah.
and make that first initial decision to start. That is the most important thing. Start and take
Absolutely.
action, and the rest will come later. Don't even think about the rest. Don't think about potential, failure scenarios, how you could fail, something could happen that will make you fail. Yes, you probably will fail. And it's 100% guaranteed that something will happen which will, put you down, or, where you would have a setback. Yes, it is possible. And you could think of
Like
it as
getting
it's
suspended.
yes, it's
Like the day
guaranteed.
you make your account.
It's
Yeah.
guaranteed. Something will happen. And your job is to think outside the box, think about how you're going to overcome that setback. Because setbacks will happen. We constantly get setbacks. Every single day we face challenges, whether it be, creating a new business, something happening with your software or with your platform, or something that you're working with, something happening to your employee. I don't know. Something happens and you have to think about how you're going to basically come out positive from the other end. And obviously for beginners, they have different setbacks from people that have an established business. Everybody goes through the same issues. It's just they are of different magnitudes and different issues altogether. So, but the whole theory is the same. You will get setbacks. You will fail. You just have to find a way to overcome it, and that's
Yeah.
what makes you move forward and learn from your mistakes.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
I'm going to leave you guys links to all the services and print on demand resources that you need in the description. Whether you need a Merch by Amazon account, my full Merch by Amazon course, the Profitable Niches service, one-to-one coaching, the free ultimate guide to print on demand success, $10K a month formula, PDF, or any of the print on demand tools and resources, either for free or with heavy discounts. You'll find all the links down below in the description.
Tia, it has been an absolute pleasure. Great value, great experience. I think a lot of people are going to be loving this podcast. They're definitely going to benefit from it. You shared, some amazing insights. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to add before we check out?
Subscribe to Mr. Addy.
Well, to you first. Yeah,
To me first, and then Mr.
guys.
Addy.
Guys, check out Tia's content. Great content. I'll leave her YouTube channel down below in the description. Other than that, have a great day and keep crushing it.